Oh, I think we're live. Yep, I think we're live. Woo!
Hell yes.
All right. Hey everyone. Welcome to a top 10 list, but a very different sort of top 10 list. It's on a live stream. I don't do live streams, but I'm doing it this time because I can't edit. And we're going to be talking about top 10 or just a 10 favorite performances in horror films. And yes, I have someone to help me do this. Is a guy who knows his shit, knows his horror films, I'm pretty sure.
That's questionable.
Yes, it's Griffin from Men vs. Movies.
Yay, how's it going, guys? Yeah, thanks, Jay, for having me on. I wouldn't say I'm a horror expert. I'm like starting to be like well versed in horror films, regardless of what my analysis on Suspiria may have led you to believe. That was just a bunch of research I did. But yeah, I run the Men vs. Movies YouTube channel, do movie reviews, talk shows, got an award season podcast, all that sort of stuff. So sure Jay will have my channel link in the description below. So if you're interested in anything I'm saying, go check it out there.
Is that analysis up yet?
No, because this is a live stream, so no, it's not. I'll be working on it today. It's been very much a passion, just kind of like working it to get it to where I want it to be, and I've already recorded some of the voiceover for it. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Like
yeah.
Does it look? Yeah.
And if it sucks, we can blame Jay because Jay approved it.
Yes, I did approve it, and blame me. Say fuck this motherfucker, fuck this Canadian, fuck him. He's a piece of shit. I am a piece of shit, but yeah. So yeah, I'm glad we finally got to do this on Halloween. This has been There's a few days that we like had to keep rescheduling and stuff. This collaboration is like the set of the Poltergeist. It just a lot of things went wrong.
Yeah, but you know what? I almost feel like it worked out better because like now we're doing it on Halloween and like it's live, so you don't have to edit it, and so people can like see all our mistakes and all that stuff.
He's a moron.
Yeah.
All exactly. Right. So let's get into it. Do you have any like honorable mentions, or do you just have the 10?
I don't really have any honorable mentions, and honest to God, I don't even know if I have like a set 10. I just have like performances that I really like enjoy in the horror genre. So like I'll probably be giving performances you're like, whoa, that guy has him at 10. Hold on there. I'm just kind of just like spewing out performances. They're in no particular order. I just kind of want to talk about like some of my favorite performances in the horror genre. Yeah. But yeah, I guess like, okay, this is my horror novice is gonna come off here, but like because I always forget their names, but the guy who plays Michael Myers, he does what's his name again? Yes, him, the guy who plays Jason, and then obviously Robert. Yeah. And then obviously Robert Englund. I think that they're all so iconic. And especially Robert Englund, you can make a really strong argument for him to be like one of the best performances in horror, especially because he's doing way more acting, I would argue, than the other two guys. But I just kind of want to group them together because of their icon status. And I think that their performances have it's a big reason why those characters are so beloved and why they're so iconic and why we have a Halloween movie in theaters today, is because of how they portrayed the characters, how their slow, methodical movements, their unrelenting violence, especially in the case of Michael Myers, or in the case of Freddy, just like his ability to creep you out, get inside of your head, and the maniacal laugh and like just his sadistic sense of humor. Yeah, so if I had to choose honorable mentions, those three would be honorable mentions. I'm sure they'll be in someone's list. It's just I look at the best performances in a horror film. I think they're great performances and they're iconic, but I think there are definitely better performances in the genre.
Yeah. I have a Jason Voorhees mask. If you want me to go put it on, I can put it on the whole video.
Hey, you could, sure, yeah.
It'll get fucking weird, but I just won't talk the whole time too, because Jason doesn't talk, so I'll just like stare very creepily while you talk.
Exactly. There you go. That might not be a good thing.
Oh no, I'll be into it, but I'll be the only one that's into it. But yeah,
I
I
got
have
you.
sort of honorable mentions. Just like performances I like, but I don't consider them like 10 best. But they're just performances I enjoy, like Toni Collette in Hereditary.
Oh, she's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kurt Russell in The Thing.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think he may have just made my list ever so slightly.
Yeah, I like that he's just a straight logical character throughout the whole
Yeah.
goddamn movie and stuff. He's just like,
Mhm.
I don't fucking trust any of you people. I'll blow tote your fucking asses if you try to kill me and stuff. I love The Thing. The Thing is like one of my all-time favorite horror films,
Yeah.
and it's got that like isolation, that claustrophobic feel. They're stuck in Antarctica with this creature who can turn into anything.
Uh-huh.
Really, and Kurt Russell is the standout. I also love Jeff Goldblum in The Thing, and in The Fly, not The Thing.
Wow,
The
okay, he
Fly.
didn't make your list either. Yeah, he was another one I think slightly made mine as well. Just because of the super just twisted nature of that and how creepy his transformation is into the fly.
Yeah, he is so gross in that movie. That movie almost made me puke when I first saw that movie,
Yeah,
but
really.
love it though. I love it. It's Cronenberg, but
Yeah, absolutely.
and the only last one I have is Anya Taylor-Joy for The Witch. I
He's another
enjoy.
one who made my list. Jesus, Jay, all of your
Wow.
my list.
I'm like, wow, this just sucks. Usually, those are all my picks. Oh god.
I freaking love Anya Taylor-Joy. She's one of my favorite up and coming talents right now, and her in The Witch is exceptional. She is so good in that film. That
Yeah.
movie like unnerved me to no end. That is legitimately like one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen. I like it like stayed with me far after like the credits. It's just it was like super like dark and edgy and like folky, which I think just and in her performance is just, you know, I don't know. I could go on about it, but she from that was like the first time I really took notice of her, and she knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome. Anytime she does a film, like she's amazing in Split and stuff. And
Uh,
I loved her in oh my god, what was that movie that came out this year with Olivia Cook?
She
Uh
was really good in Thoroughbreds.
Thoroughbreds. Yes, I fucking love that movie. One of the most underrated films of the whole year. No one saw that movie. I've
Yeah.
never people
Yeah.
talk about. I'm like, no one's seen that movie. That movie's great. I love that. I love the ending of that film. But yeah, I love Anya Taylor Joy. But yeah, let's get into our picks. Our 10 picks. All right,
Sure.
Griffin. I want you to start off, Griffin.
You want me to start off?
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about this before we went live. This is one where it's like, you know, you can make an argument for it and against it. But Kevin Spacey in Seven as what is his name? Let me put John Doe.
John
Uh,
Doe. Yeah.
I think this is one of Spacey's like creepiest performances, just because he's such a you know, unapologetic killer. Like he doesn't he like you can see clearly see he takes pleasure in like his, you know, gruesome killings of like the seven deadly sins. And I think Seven is a phenomenal film. It's definitely more of a thriller than a horror film, but there are horror
Yeah.
elements in it, especially in terms of you know, the gruesomeness and whatnot. But and I think for, you know, Spacey, he's a guy who he doesn't really make a splash in the film until like towards the third act, really. I would say the third act is really where he starts to become more realized. And it is especially in the, you know, like what's in the box scene. And then the scene that I love is when he's in the back of the car. Um,
Yeah.
and Brad Pitt's having that conversation with him. He's like, "Wait, I thought all you did was kill innocent people." And then he just looks at him. He's like, "Innocent? Is that supposed to be funny?" And it's just like, oh my god, his. You know, say what you will about the man. Obviously, he's done like horrible things, but I separating the art from the artist, I love the performances that Kevin Spacey gives, especially in the earlier years of his career. I think this is one that just every time I watch Seven, I'm like constantly creeped out by just like his lack of humanity. Um,
And
and
what? Yeah. Another thing I like about John Doe too, he wins in the end.
yeah,
He's
exactly.
the final sin, and he wants Brad Pitt to become Wrath and stuff, and he's the final sin of envy because he envied his life and stuff. And I'm like, I love that he ends up dying, but he ends up winning because Morgan Freeman even says, "You kill him right now, he wins," and he does. He wins.
Absolutely. It's and that's, I think that's one of the great things about Seven is, like you said, it's like he set out to do what he wanted, or I'm sorry, he did what he set out to do, and he basically succeeded.
And that scene when he's talking to Brad Pitt about his wife, I was absolutely unnerved. He's like, I went home to play husband, but then I took something, her pretty head. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck?
Dude, it's like super just like fucked up. It's like in terms of like portrayals of serial killers, I mean, obviously there will be one that we get to later on, I'm sure. But like Kevin Spacey in Seven is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. All right, I can concur. That's a great performance. I didn't have on the list because again, it was hard to differentiate. I have a performance. This is not the only performance from this film I'm going to be talking about. But I'm going to be talking about this performance first. It's Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, let's talk about because that would, she's on my list as well. So let's talk about it now. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love Jodie Foster in this film. This is actually one of my favorite performances. Yes, I love her in The Accused, in Taxi Driver. Those are great performances. Yeah, I love her as Clarice, though. She is the focus, even though Hopkins won the Best Actor. He's a supporting actor, but she is the central focus as this police officer. She's a newbie and stuff, and she has to investigate all these murders and all these like people are like being skinned. That's Buffalo Bill, and she needs Lecter's help to catch him and everything. And the conversation she has with Anthony Hopkins is always interesting. You follow this investigation with her, you root for her, and she gives a truly compelling performance. And even that scene when she's talking to Hannibal Lecter in the prison about the people she used to live with and they were slaughtering lambs and stuff. It's a very haunting scene. She gives such a truly compelling performance. And I love her in this movie. The whole third act when she's in Buffalo Bill's base.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really intense. She knows how to show fear super, super well. And I love her in this movie.
That was what I was actually going to get to, was I love how she comes in basically a novice and is thrown right into the fire. It's trial by fire type thing. And you're right. You see in her face basically just like this whole thing is taking on her, like when in her interactions with Lecter, when she discovers Buffalo Bill's lair, like all this stuff like this, and then you see the transformation of her character throughout the film, and it's just super. I mean, it's like like you can like picture yourself like in her shoes. I mean, she is basically the audience for all intents and purposes, because I mean, if I were to go through something like that, I'm sure I'd like come out the other side super hardened and like fucked up. And
it
happens to her as well.
Let's go solve murders.
Absolutely, yeah. But I agree. I think Jodie Foster is exceptional in this film. The movie doesn't work without her and Hopkins. You need both of them in order to make the film as good as it is. And yeah, like you said, she's great in The Accused, great in Taxi Driver, both different performances, but this is really the one where it's like this is her film. I mean, it's also Hopkins' film, but it's like she is the central character. She's carrying the film along. It's her journey. And so yeah, I completely agree with you. It's absolutely one of the best horror performances.
So she's on your list, right?
She is on my list. Yeah. So that's why.
So I guess I should go to another one now. Okay.
Another one. I'm sure it's on my list as well.
This maybe will be on your list. Classic performance from 1973, Linda Blair from The Exorcist.
Okay. Yeah. Not on my list, but very, very good choice. Very good choice. There are other performances from The Exorcist that are on my list, but
is it Ellen Bernstein?
Max von Sydow. Yes.
Max von Sydow, his father Aaron. Yeah. What's his name? Jason Miller? Is that his name? Damien? The guy
dude, I'm trying to remember. Look at us. We're a bunch of amateurs here. I'll look it up real quick. But you talk about your Exorcist performance.
A lot of people don't agree with Linda Blair always because they say two people play the role, because when she's the demon and stuff, when Captain Howdy takes her over, she has another actress doing some of the voice work and stuff. But I'm like, honestly, she's still doing the performance. She's still in the makeup, doing all the fucked up crazy shit. And honestly, she's the only person on this list that actually gave me fucking nightmares as a kid. Like watching that goddamn movie when I was like, I think 12, 11 years old. 12, 11-year-olds should not watch it, but my parents had no filter. They're like, yeah, go ahead, watch it. I'm like, no. But yeah,
No, yeah, she's really, really good in that.
yeah. She I always debate that. Okay, she didn't win supporting actress at the Oscars because Tatum O'Neal won for Paper Moon, which I don't understand because Tatum O'Neal is a lead role in Paper Moon because she is in the whole fucking movie. Why did she win supporting actress? Linda Blair should have won supporting actress. Tatum O'Neal should have won lead actress.
Yeah, it's always one of those things where it's like, and you know, I talk about this with Tyler on our award season podcast. It's like, where are these performances going to land? Because like Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy this year, you could consider him a lead performance, or you could consider him.
Performance. I think he is a lead performance.
See, I say he's more of a supporting because I think Steve Carell is really, we're seeing the film through his lens with like shades of Timothy Chalamet's, but like truthfully, they're both lead performances, but in order to help them for award season, one will probably be supporting, another will be leading. I don't know. It's a weird.
It's kind of like Amadeus. It was weird because F. Murray Abraham and Tom Hanks both got nominated for lead actor. I'm like, okay, so they're both the lead actor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but there's a lot of movies when I see both are lead actors, but they don't both get nominated for lead actor. So I'm like, what makes that movie both lead actor? You know, I think F. Murray Abraham is the lead actor because it's all through his point of view and stuff. But I don't know. Anyways, I digress. Linda Blair. Linda Blair is creepy as hell. She plays the character Regan. Basically, this little girl, she finds a Ouija board. She talks to a demon. She calls him Captain Howdy and stuff. And she ends up getting possessed by him. And I like that in the movie, they don't assume that she's possessed. They think she's mentally ill. She's not okay. They take her to all these doctors and do all these really horrible procedures to her. And they have no idea what's wrong with her. And even when Father Damien comes and he has no idea if she is possessed or not. He has no idea if he can even help her and stuff. Then Max von Sydow comes, the badass that he is and stuff. And he performs the badass exorcism on him. And what's scary about him, you don't see him die. It's when Damien's down the stairs, he talks to Ellen Bernstein, and then he just goes upstairs, Max von Sydow's dead. I'm like, how did he die? That's terrifying. That's scary to me that you don't see him die. Like, what did she do to him? And she's just like standing over him, like looking at his dead body, like look at my work and stuff. I'm like, oh, like she's creepy. Like, yes, I know some of the voice work is a little dated, I guess you could say, but I still think that makeup still holds up. I still think she's creepy as shit. Anytime I Google The Exorcist and that picture pops up, I'm like,
it's freaky for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And a whole third act when they perform the exorcism is intense as fuck. And it's all thanks to great performances, Max von Sydow, Jason Miller, Linda Blair and stuff. And I love the ending. I think it's one of my favorite endings to a horror film. I love how the movie ends.
Yes.
And even when Regan gets out of this possession, you like feel happy that she's there. She like gives her mother a hug and stuff. You feel this like relief and stuff, and she doesn't even know what the hell happened and everything. And I think Linda Blair gives a truly great performance, haunting and compelling. And yeah, I love her in this movie.
I agree completely. I think she is really transformative. I mean, obviously she's got the makeup, but she, like you said, she's able to get into both sides of the personality. She's able to play Regan as the little girl and then also like the possessed version of her. And like you said, I mean, there were like effects clearly going on there, but I still don't think it takes away from her performance.
No. So Griffin, what's next?
Well, I mean, quickly, I'll talk about Max von Sydow in The Exorcist.
Oh yeah, all right.
I think my favorite part about that whole film is like his just like battle with the devil. You know, basically, like the devil's been besting him at like no end, and so he comes in to basically like fucking put an end to it. And when they're performing the exorcism, I just think he is just, I mean, he's going all in on it. And he's, I mean, you really feel like he is a priest doing this.
The power of Christ compels you. It's like, I love it.
Super convincing. I think that's my favorite part about the performance. And the funny thing is he was so young in that film, but they just put all the prosthetics and makeup on him to make him look like
I know people say the same thing. Like, why does he look 80 in that movie
why
and he's 80 now?
yeah, right. Like, why does he look like he does now in that movie? And I'm like, well, it's because they put makeup on him. But no, I absolutely loved his character, and his arc in the film. And
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, when he gets killed, you come up the stairs, and it's like, oh shit. Um, yeah, no, I absolutely. It's one that it might not be one of like the best of. It might not be one of the top 10 best, but it's one that when you're watching the film is so powerful, it's palpable. You he's so convincing, like honest to God, like I forget that's an actor and not an actual priest.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a big testament to how well Von Sydow played the character.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen the prequels to The Exorcist?
Nah, I've only ever watched The Exorcist. I've never had a desire to go back and watch any of the other ones. Or
Yeah. I just did a whole ranking of all the Exorcist films just a couple of days ago, and I had to watch them all. And oh my god, some of them are fucking awful.
yeah.
Exorcist 2, Exorcist 3 is actually pretty underrated with George C. Scott. That's a pretty good movie.
Mhm.
Even the Exorcist of Emily Rose is okay. But then they made these prequels called the prequel to The Exorcist and Dominion, the prequel to The Exorcist. It's almost like the same movie. And it's about Father Merrin, actually, Max von Sydow's character.
Yeah.
And it's played by Stellan Skarsgård, which is a pretty good actor. But but the movie is an absolute mess. It doesn't make sense, and at times it doesn't tie into The Exorcist properly. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's just
so fucking dumb. But yeah,
why does it need to exist? You know,
I have no idea. The place is all movies that need to exist. Yes, we need the backstory of Father Merrin from The Exorcist. We need that movie. Like, no, we don't.
Yeah,
that's dumb. Anyways, I'm gonna get to a pick of mine. You said him in sort of your honorable mentions. It's a classic horror movie character. It's bitch. It's Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Robert Englund from Nightmare on Elm Street. This is a personal favorite of mine. Not only is it a terrifying performance, but it's also a very comedic performance. And I like best of both worlds. And yeah, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. Really great. The makeup on him is phenomenal. When Wes Craven came out with this movie in the 80s, Nightmare on Elm Street. I loved it. I thought it was great. I wish I was born in the 80s so I could actually have seen it in theaters, but I've always loved this movie. I love this guy, this child murderer who invades people's dreams and stuff and kills them in their dreams. You die in your dream, you die in real life. And I think that's great. And I think he's terrifying. Even when he first opened and when you see him, he's got his big long arms and stuff.
Yeah, he's super creepy, man. Like,
yeah. And then he just does little tongue things to Nancy and stuff. I'm like, oh god, you could tell he was a child molester. Just oh my god, he's so fucking creepy.
Yeah,
and just hello Nancy. And then the kills he does are brutal, especially in the original one when the girl's floating on her bed, and he guts her in the chest, and she's flinging around the room with blood. And I'm like, holy shit, this is some Exorcist shit right here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really funny because I was having a conversation with my friend recently. It was I don't know, we were at a party or something, and it was okay, so you got Jason, Michael, and Freddy. Who who are you most afraid of? Who would you run from immediately if you saw? And I was like, probably Freddy, because he, out of all three of them, he is, I mean, he can get in your dreams, and he's just the most fucked up and violent, I would say. I mean, Michael's pretty violent because that's legitimately just a walking serial killer with no humanity left. I Jason just over the course of the films just becomes silly to me.
Yeah, and plus he doesn't kill you if you're not at Crystal Lake, so you can't fear him though.
Okay, so I guess or I guess in outer space with Jason X.
Outer space, unless you're in space or in Crystal Lake. I see Michael.
Right,
Michael
but
can travel. He goes everywhere and he fucks and kills people. I'm like, yeah, okay, so he's more scary.
Yep, absolutely. But Freddy, yeah, I mean the makeup, England's performance. It's I can't imagine anyone else doing the role. And even though I thought that Jackie Earle Haley did a pretty decent job in the one that came out in the early 2000s, it still wasn't Robert Englund. And so you could kind of tell,
Yeah, I think with Jackie Earle Haley, I always put him in this bubble of goodness that is that movie because the whole movie is
Yeah.
just shit, and he is the one like saving grace in that film because he's doing something different, and I like what he's doing. What he's doing is something in a really bad film, and even he's just a horribly written character, but he's just bringing something fresh. And yeah, I love that movie almost like made Rooney Mara quit acting. I think that's hilarious, but
Blowing. Yeah, it's crazy. But yet, like the people in the Friday 13th one that came out, I think that came out before the Nightmare on Elm Street one,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're like fine, I guess. Like Daniel Panabaker's on The Flash, so
Yeah, yeah, and Jared Padalecki's still doing Supernatural. It's like one on season
right.
28 or something now.
Yeah, so
but
I don't know.
But yeah, Robert Englund, I like his performance. He's creepy. He gets more of a jokester when the sequels keep going, like with Dream Child and Dream Master. But I still dig him. He's always like the best part of even the fucking terrible Nightmare films. But I love Robert Englund. Bitch, welcome to prime time, bitch. Love it.
Yeah. Side note, I think that Wes Craven's New Nightmare is actually the second best in the franchise.
Yep. I've done a ranking. That is my second favorite. I love it. I love how meta it is and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing about that film is Craven's like attempt at Scream before he did Scream.
Which is great. I love it because I love Scream as well. And
Love Scream
yeah,
so much.
I fucking adore Scream, and I love Wes Craven's New Nightmare. What if Freddy existed in the real world? That concept alone is fucking great and terrifying. Like, what if he did exist in the real world?
Yeah.
Which is great. I loved it. And yeah, Robert Englund.
Robert Englund is great.
So yeah, what's next, Griffin?
So speaking of Scream, let's talk about some performances in Scream because
let's do it.
First of all, I mean, obviously we have Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, who I think is probably the best final girl in any slasher film. I think she is so strong and powerful. And like her, like nothing she does ever feels like dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like everything feels like, okay, yeah, she's actually trying to find her way out of it. She's resourceful. She's like the exact opposite of like what a final girl was, which is another reason why I think Scream is freaking brilliant. Scream is one of my all-time favorite. It probably is my favorite slasher film of all time.
Yeah.
But she's not the performance I want to talk about in that movie. I want to talk about Matthew Lillard in
Yes, I love Matthew Lillard.
He is batshit crazy. I don't think Matthew Lillard gets enough credit for his work. He is just, it doesn't matter what he's in, whether it's like freaking Scooby-Doo or Scream, he goes 100% in on a role. I mean, in Scooby-Doo, he literally feels like Shaggy. Like he is the physical embodiment of Shaggy. It's kind of insane.
Do you think they watched Scream and they're like, that guy needs to play Shaggy?
I don't know what, like how, but in Scream, it's just like there's never a time where that guy where you're like looking at the guy and you're like, yeah, he's kind of normal. It's like he is constantly just like fucking insane. And so what if it turns out that he's like one of the murderers, you're like, well, of course he is. Like this guy's a fucking maniac. And I think my favorite scene is when like him and Billy are cornering Sydney and they finally revealed themselves. And then they're freaking out. They're like quoting a bunch of horror films and like Matthew Lillard's like hamming it up super hard. And then they're stabbing each other. He's like, oh, it got too deep, man. I think dying here. I'm like, oh my god.
I love the scene when she calls them and then Billy answers the phone and he throws the phone at Stu's head. Stu's like, oh, don't even the phone, dick. Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. And he like talks to Sydney and she's like, well, Billy has a motivation. What's your motivation? He's like, peer pressure.
Peer pressure. And like his delivery of that, it's so freaking hilarious.
He starts like crying. He's just like, my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
Yes, I feel like Matthew Lillard steals that entire film in the third act. Like he is so freaking good. And that's, I mean, and you know, that's saying something because I think Neve Campbell is exceptional in those in that movie in particular. But you know, Matthew Lillard is just on a whole other level. So yeah, I once again, I would have been remiss if I hadn't mentioned his performance, especially considering that's my favorite slasher
Yeah.
of all time.
I like him better than Skeet Ulrich is his name. The guy who plays Billy.
Oh yeah,
Because Bill
he's
he's
good, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But the thing about Billy is he's so obvious the killer. Like that's why he's super obvious that he's a killer. Even Randy, played by Jamie Kennedy, he's just like, you saying that guy's not a killer? Like, look how creepy he is. I'm like, yeah. Jamie
yeah,
Kennedy is like the audience of the film. Like he's like the audience's point of view. He points out the flaws. He does this. And how to survive a horror film? You must not drink or do drugs and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love Sidney Prescott though. Like Nev Campbell almost made my list because I love she is a badass.
He's so good. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I love that she kills all the characters in all the films. Like she just does it herself. She kills both Billy, both Stu. In the second one, she kills Mickey, Billy's mom. Third one, she kills her own brother. And then the fourth one, she fucking paddles of Emma Roberts in the head.
You know, I recently rewatched all the Scream films earlier in the month, and the fourth one, Emma Roberts is a fucking psychopath in that
Yeah.
film. I love the ending where like she's in the hospital trying to kill Sydney, and like she's got like the crazy eyes going on, and then when she finally gets killed, it's like she gets the like publicity that she's like always sought after. I was just like, this is great.
I
I
think
love.
it's interesting commentary too about the world and the world we live in and stuff, and how the media and how, and she says a quote in the movie saying like, and Robert, she's like, you don't need to accomplish anything to be famous. You just have to have fucked up things happen to you. Like she's
Yeah.
not wrong. She is not wrong.
Very correct.
The fucking Kardashians, like Jesus.
Yep, exactly.
But like, yeah, I agree, and I love the Scream movies. I watch those. Not even just Halloween season. I just watch them.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're just fun to watch.
Typical Friday for me. Like,
Yeah, right.
all right, my next one. I'm gonna go with a classic one. I don't know if you've seen this because I talked about this when we did our black and whites
Sure.
movies, and you said it. Yeah, oh, you said you haven't seen it yet. So, it's Robert Mitchum in The Night of the Hunter.
Yeah. I know. I still haven't seen that. But I mean, from you talking about it, sounds pretty great.
Yeah, it's so creepy. It's a very horror film. This is way after Peeping Tom and Psycho. And basically it's about this guy. He's like, you don't know what he is and stuff, but he has like these tattoos on his finger with good and evil and stuff on his fingers. Played by Robert Mitchum, who's amazing. And basically he's after this money that this guy stole and stuff, but he hid it in like this stuffed doll. And this stuffed doll goes to this family with his mother and these two kids. So basically he tries to like put the moves on the mother just so he can get to the doll and stuff. And then he even ends up convincing the mother to kill herself and everything. And this is how fucked up he is and how manipulative he is. And he dresses up like a priest and stuff, like he's a very holy person, but really he's a psychopath. And then these kids go on the run. He basically just chases them down the country and stuff. And then they find this orphanage and he tries to get them into the orphanage, pretending to be, I'm their father and stuff. And oh yeah, he's fucking nuts. Absolutely nuts. And he always sings this song that Leaning on the Everlasting Light. He just keeps singing that throughout the movie. And it's so unsettling. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's fucking creepy. And yeah, Robert Mitchum just gives a amazing performance. Like he is absolutely unsettling. It's directed by, oh my God, I forget who directed this movie, but he's a famous actor too. But yeah, I love this movie. It's short and to the point too. It's only like a 90-minute film and it just gets right into it. And yeah, I love it. It's unsettling. It's got the atmosphere, great cinematography.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's one that I still am pretty keen to check out eventually.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. All right. What's your next one?
My next one. So this is a little bit of a cheat because I'm going to just say the actor, but then I mean he's been in so many movies you could choose literally any of them. Vincent Price. For House on Haunted Hill, House of Wax. I mean the million other horror films he's done. He's an icon, but he's not only an icon, he's an incredible actor, and he is such a presence in those films. Like you go back and you watch the movies and they're still as engaging as they were because he is like magnetic on screen. You just, every time he's not on screen, you want him to be back on screen. And I think that's just a testament to how great of an actor he is, how like incredible screen presence he has. And you know, if I had to choose one, obviously House on Haunted Hill, that's like the big one of his. But I mean, you could choose like a million other ones. I mean, he really helped like define the genre. Like he was the actor for like classic horror films at the time, and I feel like that alone, just because of how, you know, not only how good of an actor he was, but of how like important he was to the genre, I feel like it deserves a spot on the list.
Also, I didn't see that ending coming for the House on Haunted Hill when he does to his wife at the end of that movie. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Don't want to spoil it for the audience, but if you haven't seen
Yes.
House on Haunted Hill, you absolutely should, because it's great.
I think House of Wax is easily his most like unsettling performance
Oh,
because
House of Wax is a creepy movie,
yeah,
dude.
especially with that makeup on him and stuff, and he's just like, I just want my buttery and my nuts and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway,
Boy, dude, like his voice is so iconic. Like every piece of this man is just like so it's like it is synonymous with horror. You know what I'm saying? And I think the only reason why I would say so, like, because I mentioned, you know, not putting, you know, the three main slashers on this list because of icon status, but yet I'm putting Vincent Price on here for icon status. It's not just the icon status, it's the performance he delivers with being the icon. Like he's an icon because of how incredible he is in the genre.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think he's fucking amazing. I love Vincent Price.
Oh,
I think
Price is great.
he
Yeah.
can do anything, even a Disney movie like Great Mouse Detective. He's awesome.
Oh my god, I love the Great Mouse Detective so much.
Him as Radigan's like the best part of that movie.
He's
I love
perfect. They have the little mustache too.
Yeah, I love it.
It's
I even
all-
love him in serious movies like Edward Scissorhands.
yeah, yeah,
He's great in that movie. I love Vincent Price. He
yeah.
could do no wrong.
He literally can do no wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, great pick. Mine is this is the class. This is just I think most people would have this on their list. I just did a whole review of this with Ryan, and yeah, I love the little son of a bitch. And it's Jack Nicholson, The Shining.
Yep, that was actually going to be one of the next ones I brought up, was Jack Nicholson for The Shining. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a Funko Pop. Oh, it's over there. I have a Funko Pop of him. Yeah.
Jack Torrance, hell yes.
Yeah, Red Rum. That's not Jack Torrance. That's Danny, but yeah, Red Rum. But I love Jack. I think only Jack Nicholson could play this role. I think
Jack Nicholson. Yeah.
the way, just how insane he gets, only no one can do this but Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
Especially the whole third act is just, it's all Jack Nicholson. Like the little pigs, let me in. Just like, it's so great. And it's just like the Batsy, give me the bats, give me that.
Yeah. It's still mind blowing that he wasn't. I correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he was not nominated for this film. Like this film wasn't nominated for like basically anything.
Do you know what the stupidest thing is? I'm actually baffled. It was nominated for 2 Razzies.
Yeah, that it's still like,
worst director and worst supporting actress. I'm like, what?
That's insane, because she is equally. I mean, you can make a serious like case for her being on this list as well, because she's amazing.
Yeah, I think she's great. And Kubrick's direction is amazing. Like, worst? Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
there's so much. Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show that, you know, some films just are more appreciated over time.
Yeah.
But I completely agree. Like, dude, like Jack, like that is the performance, or one of the performance that really just defines Jack Nicholson. I mean, it's like that, Chinatown, and The One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Those are the big 3.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's just like him completely unhinged.
Yeah. It's not just the ending, because yeah, everyone loves him in the third act when he's fucking crazy, but the whole movie he's great.
Yeah.
And like you can see even through the middle, like he's slowly going mad. Like just the scene with him just looking out the window doing this, just like I'm like, oh my god, that's so until when he talks to Danny, it's just like, you like being here, right? And stuff. It's so creepy. He's so creepy and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you just feel him slowly going mad and stuff. And hi, Lloyd. It's just like
it's just it's insane. It's insanity. Yeah.
I think he's amazing. I think he's one of the best actors in a horror film. I think it's one of the best performances. And the fact that he got no love for the Oscars, that film itself didn't get nothing, like for the adapted screenplay, best director, not worst director. Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's just it makes absolutely no sense to me.
I don't fucking know. I like, yeah. But yeah, that's on your list, right, Jack Nicholson?
Absolutely, yeah, hands down on the list. Yeah,
I'm gonna talk about the songs. I know 100% guarantee this is on your list.
Yeah.
Anthony Perkins, Psycho.
Yeah, Anthony Perkins Psycho is on my list. You know, let's do a pairing here. Anthony Perkins Psycho and Christian Bale for American Psycho.
Great. Yeah, okay.
Both of those are so good.
Don't
So
just stare at it, eat it.
the thing, dude, I talk about this every single time I bring up American Psycho. The business card scene is the biggest stroke of genius ever. I fucking love the business card scene so much. He's like, oh my god. Like, oh, it's just Bale's internal monologue is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I love Bale in that movie. I love his character. Just the fact that he is so like full of himself. That's what makes it so great and stuff.
Yeah,
like when he's like having sex with the girl and flexing while staring at himself. He's getting off by looking at himself. I'm like, that is so fucking weird, but that's hilarious and creepy. And like, and just like when he's like killing people with the chainsaw, when he's beating the fucking guy in, just like, ah! And then it's so great. I fucking love him in that movie.
It's easily his most underrated film that I think has been coming. It's been having like more of a resurgence in popularity because it was not nearly as appreciated when it first came out as it is now. I mean, and I think his performance, a lot of people are coming around on that being one of his like best performances too.
Yeah, easily. I actually say like my favorite Christian Bale performances. Like I say either American Psycho, The Machinist, or The Fighter. I think are his best performances. And
Absolutely.
because I think he's just a straight method actor, and he just
gets
right into the fucking roles. And I love him in American Psycho.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Anthony Perkins now.
Anthony Perkins, yes,
an actor who was not nominated again. Stupid Oscars, but I love him in this movie as in Psycho. Hitchcock. It's Hitchcock's masterpiece. Again, I've said this. I think Rear Window is my favorite. I think that's my favorite Hitchcock movie, Rear Window. But I think Psycho is his best made film. Just the way it's directed, the cinematography, the score. Yeah, in my opinion.
I say Vertigo is and my favorite.
Yeah. See, I think Rear Window is a masterpiece, and it's like my 5th favorite film of all time.
Yeah.
When I watch Psycho, I'm blown away by Psycho, and it's like, whoa, like
Psycho was revolutionary for the slasher genre, but like, I don't know. I just look at everything he's doing in Vertigo and the technicality of it, along with just like masterful storytelling and visual storytelling. I mean, there's a reason it's like BFI's #1 film of all time.
And I will say Vertigo has the best ending to
I love the ending to that film. That
best ending. I will say that easily.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
Yeah. And I think about Psycho too, just like I like it breaks rules and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It breaks just all rules. Like, this is the main character. No, it's not. That's not the main character and stuff. You're like, oh, okay. It's just like, it's great. It kills like the main character. Everyone knows that Marion dies in like the first like 35 minutes of the film and stuff. Then her sister comes, Vera Miles and stuff. And pretty much Norman Bates is the main character, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
He's in both parts of the film.
I mean, he's so good. He just plays both sides of the character so well. The split personalities. I mean, obviously the iconic shot at the end where he does like the creepy smile. I mean, it's everything Perkins is doing in there. And we said this before, I think when we were talking about Black and White. Everything he's doing is so ahead of its time in terms of performance.
Yeah.
Like it's just he could give that performance today and still be an Oscar consideration. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's a timeless performance, much like what Marlon Brando was doing back in like, On the Waterfront, that kind of thing. It's yeah. I mean, it's just so good.
I think what shows his acting chops the most in that movie is when he's talking to Marion in the office, his office
Yes,
and stuff. That
yes,
entire scene is the best acted scene in the whole film, I
I
think,
agree.
from Anthony Perkins. And it's just the way he talks about he talks about taxidermy, then he talks about his mother and how ill she is and stuff. She's like, oh, she just gets a little bad. We all go a little mad sometimes. And he isn't doing like in a creepy way. He just does it in actually a very honest way. It comes off creepy because he's doing it in such a calm and collect way. I'm like, oh, that's a little weird and unsettling.
Yeah, I mean, there's something totally off about the dude to begin with. So
Yeah.
like,
And
yeah,
then he just like you eat like a bird and stuff. And then yeah, there's just a lot of things he says in that scene. I'm just like, this guy is like fucked in the head. And
right. Like, I
it's
would have gotten the hell out of there after that conversation.
yeah, it's like even if he's like, I can wake up in the morning, we can have breakfast together. I'm like, I'd get the hell out of there, woman. It's just like,
I'd rather take my chances in jail.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, take that money back and go to jail and not die in the shower.
Right.
But yeah, Anthony Perkins is one of my favorite performances.
Yeah, same.
He's on your list, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right, I'm gonna get to another performance. This is another one. Is it horror? Is it not? I'm like, yeah, it is. It's Sigourney Weaver in Alien and Aliens.
Yeah, she's really good. I left her off of my list because I think she's I mean I mean you could definitely factor in the icon status, you could factor in the fact that she's giving a great performance, but I don't know. I think there are just other performances that I just slightly prefer. But I mean I mean the first Alien is a horror film, I would say.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
second Alien is a sci-fi action like horror film.
Yeah. It's like an action film with like sprinkles of horror. But
Yeah.
Alien is a straight sci-fi horror. Like, there's no questions about it. That's like a sci-fi horror. And I actually like Ripley as a final girl in Alien, the first Alien. One thing, she's the most logical character throughout the entire goddamn movie. Her and Parker, like, well, like she's like, don't go out there, but they go out there. Like when let us in, he has something attached to his face. She's like, I'm not letting you in. That's protocol. You stay the fuck out there. But then they don't listen. They never listen to her. And then when he brings in, why don't we freeze his body? I'm like, why don't they freeze his body? I'm like, she's like the most smartest character.
She is, yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, why is no one listening to this girl? And I love her performance at the ending of Alien. It's just the sheer paranoia when the ship's about to blow up, and then when the xenomorph sneaks onto the vessel with her, and she has to like shoot the fucking thing out. It's just showing there's barely any dialogue. It's just showing fear, and I'm scared just watching her run away and stuff. Like get off that ship in the nick of time, get that xenomorph and stuff, and I feel paranoid watching her, and that's why I love her performance so much in Alien. And Aliens is more compelling and stuff because she's been floating in space for like 60 something years and stuff. Her daughter's dead. Her whole life is just done and stuff. She has nothing to do. She has nothing to do with her life. And she has to go back to LV-426 and battle the fear because she has these nightmares and stuff. She has to battle and conquer that fear and everything. Kind of like a Halloween H2O with Laurie Strode and stuff. She has to conquer her brother and stuff. But and she has to go to LV-426. She meets Newt, blossoms this amazing, kind of very beautiful mother-daughter relationship. And she was nominated for Aliens too. I think that's cool that she was nominated.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I guess that's the thing is like I think her performance is better in Aliens, and that's more of like an action film.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of a horror film, so like I get putting it in there. So yeah.
It's very like it's debatable.
I mean,
I put it in there because she's just my favorite, like one of my favorite final girls, just favorite actresses and favorite characters. So Ripley for the win. I have a pop of her too.
Hell yes. Hell yes, dude.
Yeah. All right, Griffin, you're next.
Okay. Let's go with Bela Lugosi for Dracula. Because he's so good. Out of all of the classic Universal monster performances, I know everyone will say like Boris Karloff or Lon Chaney because Boris Karloff as Frankenstein is doing a lot of physical acting, and Lon Chaney had like played so many iconic characters, especially like the Phantom of the Opera, the werewolf, and stuff like that. But Bela Lugosi, when I think of Dracula, I think of Bela Lugosi. I know some people will argue Christopher Lee. It may, you could debate who was better, but I just think Bela Lugosi in that film is so creepy, so unsettling, so authentic. Even still today, like there you see the guy entering the castle and you're like, I take one look at that dude, I am walking right out the door. That guy is not
Yeah.
is not okay. But yeah, I love Dracula in general, like the original, the one from the 30s. Um, and I think that he is a big reason why it still kind of holds up today. I mean, sure, the technical stuff doesn't really, and it's a slower paced film, not a whole lot of scares, but I think the performance that Lugosi is giving is still like it's great. He is Dracula.
Yeah.
I can't picture seeing like Bela Lugosi out in public not being Dracula. He becomes the character, and there's a reason like it's one of the most iconic portrayals of the character ever.
Yeah, yeah. I like that it's slow, builds on the grim feel, the like this atmosphere and stuff of the film, and uh I like his performance because it's also very subtle in a lot of moments. Gary Oldman, I love Gary Oldman in Bram Stoker's
I
Dracula.
literally just watched that a couple days ago,
Yeah,
and that was an experience rewatching that film.
yeah, great movie. That's a great movie.
Oh yeah, I agree. I love Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I think it's probably the most accurate to the original source material. However, I equate this movie to this. It's like they learned a bunch of new camera and visual techniques and just wanted to test it all out at once because that movie is visually overwhelming as hell. There is so much going on. But once it kind of settles, it's really good.
Yeah, yeah. I love Bram Stoker's Dracula. The only thing that ruins that movie is Keanu Reeves.
Oh, really? You wouldn't say the Bat Ape version of freaking of Dracula? That was a little that was come on, like a
It,
freaking Winona Ryder, Winona Ryder walks out to the courtyard and there's just like Dracula as the man or the Bat Ape just like having sex with what's her face, and he just like looks over and I'm like, okay, that was funny. Like,
it has weird moments. I again I like the 30s version because it is a little more subtle and stuff. It's more grim. It has more of the creepy atmosphere.
super
Bram Stoker's Dracula, I fucking love it because I kind of grew up with that movie, but it does have some weird shit and it's very in your face about a couple of things and stuff. And yeah, and Keanu Reeves is just awful. I love Keanu Reeves, but God, he's terrible in that.
who decided to cast him in that film? Like he's so miscast.
Yeah, like that scene is just like, do you hear them? Those, and then Keanu Reeves, those animals. I'm like, what is that accent?
Do a British act. It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's kind of funny, like maybe it's so
Very
bad, it's hilarious. I was like,
yeah.
what the fuck is he doing? But
Oh,
it's so bad because you got Gary Oldman who's giving a great performance, Winona Ryder is giving a good performance, and Anthony Hopkins is giving a great performance.
I love Anthony Hopkins in that movie
Yeah,
as
as
Van
Van
Helsing.
Helsing. Yeah,
Dude, he is perfect as Van Helsing.
yeah, and then you just get Keanu Reeves over here. You're like, wow, like
Yeah.
I don't know what Francis Ford Coppola just like he's like, I don't know why you didn't take that him out of that movie. I'm just like, he doesn't match with these people. I'm like,
No, no.
even Carrie Ellis from Princess Bride's good in the movie and stuff.
Absolutely. Well, I was having, in this movie, I was having a conversation with my friend about it. And this is slightly off topic, but it's like that movie came out in a time where like the Academy wasn't afraid to like nominate weird films. So like, I feel like Keanu Reeves aside, I'm kind of like surprised that that movie didn't get more like awards recognition than it did because it was pretty well received. I think the biggest complaints were Keanu Reeves and like the overstimulation visually of the film. Had they took more of a traditional approach to it with that cast and like giving the performances they gave, that could have very well been an Academy Award nominated film, you know?
I'm surprised they didn't get like cinematography, like or editing
Right. Yeah. I mean, costume design. It
costumes.
probably did get a costume design Oscar now that I think about it, but I have no idea. But
I even think the score is super haunting and really
Thor's
good.
really good in that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, all around, it's a great film, and if you're looking for a more modern interpretation of it, while still being like classic,
Yeah.
definitely, I highly recommend Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah. All
But
right.
anyway, Bela
Next.
Lugosi.
Yeah, Bela Lugosi.
The real Dracula, the iconic Dracula.
Yes.
As much as I love Gary Oldman, whenever I think of Dracula, I think of Bela Lugosi, and his performance still holds up today. So, yes,
Fully agree.
yes.
And I do like Christopher Lee as well, but yes, Bela Lugosi's better. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But all right, now I'm gonna go with like a sort of a dark horse here. This is I don't know if you've seen this movie, maybe. I'm just gonna say it's Belen Ruda for The Orphanage.
No, I haven't seen The Orphanage. That's a name. Her performance, I think, pops up a lot on people's lists.
I love her in this movie. This is directed by J.A. Bayona, and best J.A. Bayona film, better than Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
I unapologetically love that film. I don't give a shit. I think J.A. Bayona is the reason why that film actually works.
Yeah, I like the Monster Calls as well. I like that one too.
Film that fundamentally broke me.
Yeah, it was good. But this is his best movie. It's a drama, but it's also a horror because it's a ghost story and stuff about these people in this building, and it was an orphanage. All these people and these kids died, and then this girl who loses her son and stuff, but she still feels like connection with him at this place. You feel so much sympathy for this girl and this, and like you don't know if she's going insane. You like, is she on the brink of insanity and stuff? And is it just sad, or is it kind of pathetic what she's doing at times? And just like, but you still love it, and you still love her performance and the shit she sees in that movie. I'm surprised she didn't run out of that fucking house cowering. I would have, but she's not. She just accepted. I'm like, this is the happiest girl who sees ghosts. But
yeah.
I love it. I love the ending. I'll never spoil the ending. I'll never dare spoil the ending of this film, but it is so heartbreaking and so sad. And her performance just almost brings tears to your eyes. It's just so good. The ending alone gives her it gives her a place on my list because it's so upsetting and so heart-wrenching, and your heart bleeds for this woman. And I love her performance. The whole movie is great, and the scenes with her son in the beginning and stuff. And yeah, she's really great in the how she has the paranoia and how she thinks maybe I am crazy, but no, I'm not crazy. I didn't know what I saw and stuff, but then the ending, heartbreaking, and it's amazing performance.
Yeah, no, I mean, once again, I haven't seen the film, but based off of what you said, sounds like it. It sounds to be on here.
Great. How many do you have left? I have 2 left now. Do you have 2 left now?
Yes, I've got 2.
I think it's the same 2.
Is it?
Maybe.
Well, okay, the last one we'll talk about is absolutely the same. Second to last one. This might shock you a little bit because I don't think people realize that this film is a horror film. Robert Shaw for Jaws.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it is a horror film.
It's absolutely a horror film.
I should have clued it. I mean, I agree. Actually, I might take someone off my list. Yeah, Robert Shaw. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I put more than 10 names on this list. I'm just kind of talking freely, but
who cares? I break the rules. We can break the rules.
Absolutely, I think Robert Shaw in Jaws is incredible. He is so in character. I mean, he's insane. I mean, by far and not only that, but he's giving like an incredible performance as well. By far the best scene, and the best scene that showcases that is when he's telling the story about the USS. What the fuck is it? The Indianapolis, or is it the
Indianapolis? Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah. And he's talking about the sharks and stuff like that. I mean, it's literally someone telling a ghost story around a campfire, and it's so effective. His delivery is on point and everything. And it's always funny because watching Robert Shaw in Jaws, like that was my first exposure to him as an actor. But then I go back and I watch like From Russia with Love, the Sean Connery James Bond film, and he is one of the Bond villains in that film. And it's like, these are 2 completely different people. Like he's playing like a blonde British assassin in this one. And then he's playing like a freaking like just blue collar, super salty seaman in Jaws, and he just gives himself to the role. He has by far one of the most gruesome deaths in all of horror films. Like it's pretty freaking gruesome. And
that scene in Jaws when he dies, it still gets me.
Oh my God. You feel it. You really feel it.
It's all because of Robert Shaw and the shark. The shark is like fucking biting him and ripping into his stomach. I love that I missed it the first few times I saw Jaws, but he has a knife sticking. He's sticking his knife into the side of the shark's face, and I always miss that he's shoving his knife in. I'm like, oh, so he's dying while fighting still.
Oh,
You know, he's
absolutely. And
screaming.
it's so
He's
it's
fucking digging the knife in. And he's screaming and flinging around, blood spitting out of his mouth, just blood. Oh, it's fucked up. Like that alone should almost get an R rating just for that death.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like this stuff at the beginning, when he's like scratching the chalkboard, which we
That's
don't.
one of my favorite introductions to any character.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, truthfully, you could have picked any of the 3 characters in this film to be on this list, but like his character as Quint just is iconic and sticks out for a reason because he just is, Brody's like the straight man, and then you've got Hooper, who's very much like the scientist, and I love Hooper in the film because I think he's hilarious.
Yeah.
But as far as performances go, I feel like that Robert Shaw is just he's on a whole other level.
So many scenes. I love it. The whole third act is just genius because of Robert Shaw and stuff. Like, and I like that he's just so confused that he can't get the shark. Like he does the barrels. No shark can go down with 3 barrels and stuff. And he just still goes down. You're like, what? He's like, I'm confused.
Yeah, and I mean his character is still like is still like just as iconic today as he was back then. We have parodies of him now because he's so just like ingrained in our in terms of like shark movies.
Yeah. From what I heard, when I've watched a lot of documentaries about this movie and stuff, but like the scene when he's like driving the boat and when the boat's like breaking down and Hooper's like, "You're gonna burn the engine." He's like, "Shut the hell up." I heard Robert Shaw just did that because apparently he didn't sleep that whole night. And he just like screamed at Richard Dreyfuss in that scene.
Yeah.
He like walked off set after. He's like, "Shut up."
Oh my god. I love I feel like the making of Jaws is almost as interesting as like the film itself.
Yeah, like it took them like a while because they also to get the shark to make it look real and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how old was Spielberg? He was like 26 when he made that movie or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm 27. He was younger than me, and he made a fucking masterpiece like Jaws.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a prodigy kid.
Shows what I'm doing with my life. Anyways, see, okay, I have 2 left. I'm gonna guess which one the one is that's on your list. So I'm gonna do the one that isn't on your list.
Okay.
I'll laugh if this one is on your list though, but
yeah,
Kathy Bates for Misery.
Yeah, no, see, I haven't seen Misery, so
oh, that explains so much. Okay,
perfect.
Yeah. When you see Misery, you'll have her on your list. This is not only the best female villain, one of the scariest female villains ever. It's my personal favorite. Rob Reiner. This is when Rob Reiner made good movies. And Stephen King's one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. I've never read the book, but I heard it's like spot on and stuff. And it's about basically a creepy fan, like this guy, like he gets into a car accident, and this girl, Annie Wilkes, that's Kathy Bates, this very big woman, and who's very obsessed with him. Like he just wakes up and she's like staring in his face, like, "I'm your #1 fan." I'm like, instantly, I'd be like, get me the fuck out of here. But his legs are both broken and he's stuck in this bed. I'm like, he's got no way out.
Yeah.
And she's like, take care of him. She was a nurse and everything. And he's like writing this book, and it's like a very dirty kind of book she finds, and she like burns his book. I'm like, oh my god, that bitch. Like, how dare you? And he basically wrote an ending to the novel series called Misery, and that's why she's a big fan of him. And then at the end of the book, the character Misery dies, and Annie Wilkes gets so upset. She like freaks out at him and like shakes his bed and stuff. And basically, she forces him to write a new ending to the story, or she'll fucking kill him and stuff. And I'm like, that's creepy as shit. And oh my god! And the ending, I won't spoil it. Do you know how it ends?
No, I don't. Yeah.
Okay, but it ends with the best comeback ever, and has one of my favorite lines with him saying, "Eat it, you sick, twisted fuck." I love it. And how he gets out is so good. It's one of my favorite, just like, yeah, James Caan, yeah. It's so great. It's the biggest, like, fuck yeah, when you root for a hero, because he's just shit for like an hour and a half. You're like, oh my god,
Yeah,
buddy, man. And then when he finally fights back, like, yes, it's great. And I love Kathy Bates. She won the Oscar, 100% deserved it. She is creepy in this film. She is terrifying. And just, when you go into her backstory, I'm like, this girl is sick, like absolutely sick, and that this girl needs to be in an institution. She is fucked up. And yeah, in this weird obsession she has with this actor. And I'm like, I know there's people out there that have that creepy obsession. I feel like some teenage girls have that creepy
absolutely. Yeah, no doubt.
She's like a creepy teenage girl growing into like a 40-year-old woman, and she's just like, it's so unsettling, it's so creepy. I'm like, this guy's just an author. That's it. He's not God or anything, but she's like so weirdly obsessed with him, and like now that he's with her, like she's like, oh, we can be together now. I'm like, whoa, what the hell are you talking about, woman?
Yeah.
It's creepy. It's a great performance Kathy Bates gives, and I love this movie, and I love her in this film.
For sure. Yeah, no, I believe it.
I know it's your the number one.
There is no other choice. Like there is legitimately no other choice. Like Anthony Hopkins for Silence of the Lambs is it's the greatest horror performance of all time.
It is. It's my number one. It's like I want to get.
It's mine. Yeah, I don't care what the rest of the performance I've mentioned. They could be in whatever order they are, but number one is always Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, that's how I made my list. I'm like, number one, Anthony Hopkins. All right, so what are the next ones?
Yeah, exactly. It's his. I mean, there's a reason he was nominated and won the Oscar for it because it's that fucking creepy. Yeah. It's Hopkins giving himself to the mindset of a cannibal serial killer. I mean, there's so many iconic lines, and it's not just the lines, it's like the way he delivers those lines. And I mean, for like the majority of the film, he's behind a glass box, just like talking to or not a glass box, but he's just behind a prison talking to Jodie Foster, Clarice, the whole film, and their interactions are so rich and juicy. And like when we were talking about Jodie Foster, the film, it's Foster's movie, but it's like it works because both of them are giving such like career defining performances.
Yeah. I love that he's a very classy guy that has,
oh my god, yes,
that's what makes it so great. Like like even Clarice says, he's like, he won't come after me. He's like, why not? He's like, because he would consider that rude.
Yeah.
Breaking out of prison and then going after Clarice, he wouldn't do that because that's bad manners and stuff. And even with the scene with the guy throws the jizz at her face and stuff, he ends up like making that guy kill himself because he thought that was disrespectful to women. That's a very disrespectful to do. He didn't even like Clarice when he first met her, but after that happened, he says that was uncalled for and stuff. And then he makes that guy fucking kill himself because that's just bad manners. You shouldn't do that stuff.
I
like things like that. I'm like, that just makes him such a weird guy. He's fucking creepy, but he cares about being respectful.
He's like, he's like creepily like charming. You know? Yeah. It's just like
what I love about him.
Hannibal Lecter he's such a fascinating character, and
he wants to know about people because he was a therapist, like he's a psychiatrist. So of course that's just in his duty. But to give Clarice information, he wants to know more about her. He says, "You got to give me something, and I'll give you something. Like give me something about your life, and then I'll give you something about Buffalo Bill and stuff." And that she just tells some stories about his life and about her past and about how she lived with like the people and her uncle with the lambs and stuff. And yeah, it's really great. And I like that he genuinely almost in a way kind of cares for Clarice Starling and stuff. And
he definitely,
And I think they sort of kind of ruined it in some ways in Hannibal, the movie Hannibal. You know, he's great in Hannibal, but I don't like what they did in that movie. I'm like,
I much prefer Red Dragon if we're talking about like the films in that series. I think Red Dragon is really, really good.
Very good. Because it's a remake of Manhunter and it's a better movie because Manhunter has problems, but I liked Red Dragon and I like Edward Norton in that movie.
Yeah, he's great. But I agree with you. Hannibal was like it was not great.
No. And the fact that they made it like he's like in love with Clarice and like kidnaps her, has a romantic dinner with her. That just goes against everything he kind of stands for. He wouldn't
absolutely.
Somebody. He just murders them and eats them. He doesn't kidnap them and take them against their will and stuff. Again, that would be bad manners, like he says in Silence of the Lambs. But I don't know. I like his performance. I just don't like the movie. But
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Silence of the Lambs is a perfect performance. It's creepy. It's unsettling. Every line of dialogue he says, I'm intrigued. I just want to know, like, oh my god, just what's Hannibal saying and stuff. And if he was in it more, I love it all the more. But
Yeah.
the fact that he's in it not as much makes it more mysterious, makes it more creepy and stuff. And
Well, I think that's the thing. Is like you want more from him because he's so good, and that's they had him in the film the perfect amount because it's not his movie. He's just, I mean, he's there to balance off of to go off of, like, you know, Clarice and help her along her journey, but he's just such a fascinating character that you want more of him, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So,
and like we said, Hannibal, he's in it, the main character, and it's not a good movie and stuff. So that just goes to show you less is more sometimes. Less is
yes, absolutely. I mean, look at Marlon Brando in The Godfather.
yes, I think he's great, and I think he has
Yeah.
the perfect amount of screen time
Yeah.
as the Don Corleone, Vito Corleone, and yeah, I love. Yeah, and Anthony Hopkins is just he's one of my favorite actors. And just
Yeah.
I love just his performance, and this movie is one of my all-time favorite horror films.
Same. Yeah.
And came out the year I was born, 1991.
Hell yes.
And James Sullivan says that I'm like, I was born in 91, the year of Silence of the Lambs. They're like, shut the fuck up. And some people from my work like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, go watch a movie. You work at
Yeah.
a theater for fuck's sakes. But yeah, that's yeah, we both agree.
It's excellent. It's the best. It's the best.
Whew, all right. So
Yes.
that's it.
There you have it. There's our random conglomerate of best performances,
Yes, our 10 performances, including other performances.
including other performances. Yeah, I'm about 90% sure that I said more than like 10 performances, but you know what?
You know,
Whatever.
10 sounds better. It just top 10 sounds better. Even it's not a top 10. Top 10
It is definitely not a top 10. I had these are like all over the place, but
but it just
it sounds better. Yeah.
top
Yeah.
14 doesn't sound as like good.
No.
Top
no.
16 and a half.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Yes.
But yeah, thanks Griffin for talking some more movies, horror films with me.
Absolutely. Yeah, no
It was a
problem at all.
blast. It was a blast.
Thanks for
And
having me on.
Yeah, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, you can head on over to the Men vs. Movies channel. Check out some of the stuff we got going on there. You can follow Men vs. Movies on Twitter. Just search Men vs. Movies. And then if you want to follow me specifically on Twitter, you can hit me up at Griff Schiller.
Yeah, awesome. And he's got Suspiria and analysis coming up.
We'll see how that goes. I still got to work on it. It's like
Yeah.
noon here, so let's see what we can do.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be up, and I'll just like tag it everywhere on like Facebook and stuff.
Sure,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, because it sounds great. I read it. It sounds awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'll even comment best video ever.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for that comment. I'll be waiting for it.
It's just like, oh, well, yes, of course.
Yeah.
What else is? And yeah, but yeah, thanks guys for joining me in the chat and everything. And yeah, in the comment section below, if you're watching it later, give me your guys' top 10 favorite horror movie performances. If you have different opinions, that's really cool. Just be respectful. Don't be a fuck. All right. So, yeah, just comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side. All right. I'll end the broadcast. Peace.